Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. I am Shashank and today I will explain you about the tool marks. So in this following video we will discuss about principle of tool mark, what is a tool mark, types of tool marks, characteristics of tool marks, examination of tool marks, comparison of tool marks, and at last we will also discuss about a case study. So now, what is the principle of tool mark? Tool marks are made when a harder object comes in contact with the softer object, leaving marks on it. Now, what is a tool mark? A tool mark is considered to be any impression, cut, scratch, or abrasion caused by a tool coming into contact with another object. Normally, tool mark is formed by interaction of various tools that the suspect uses at the crime scene. For example, if any criminal tries to open a locked window with the help of screwdriver, then the screwdriver will leave the marks on window and window sill. The tool mark can be striation or compression or repeated saw or drill marks. Now, the importance of tool marks. First of all, permanency. It is very difficult to remove or damage the tool mark found on the crime scene. Second, individuality. Each and every tool leaves its own type of mark on it. Third, linkage. It links the tool mark with the tool and the tool links with the criminal. Then reconstruction. In crime scene reconstruction, it helps a lot for the investigation process and it helps to the investigative officer. Now, the types of tool marks. Tool marks are mainly classified into 4 types. First, impressed marks. Second, striated marks. Third, crushed marks. And fourth is the multi-stroke marks. So now, we will discuss the types of tool marks in detail. First of all, impressed or molded marks. These marks are the result of a contact of a tool onto a surface with no lateral motion, that is no drag nor slip. The resulting tool marks that are a 3-dimensional mold of the part of the tool that contacted the surface. For example, if there is a metal sheet, plain metal sheet, on which if you strike a hammer and doing no motion, that is no drag nor slip, and taking back it, then you can see a 3-dimensional mold over there on the metal sheet, and that leaves a mark of a hammer. That kind of a mark can be considered to as a impressed or molded marks. Now, striated or slipped marks. This impression occurs as the tool drags or slides across the surface. The resulting tool mark is a series of striations running parallel to each other, following the direction of the drag. For example, if there is a plain metal sheet on which you drag a screwdriver on it, then you can see is the straight lines, that will be a tool mark, and that kind of tool mark can be considered to be as a striated or slipped marks. Now, crushed marks. These marks generally appear on the cross section of a surface chopped by a sharp enough tool. For example, a wire cut by pliers, or you can see is in while any cutting lock, that is a closed lock with the help of plier or any other tool, there also you can see the crushed marks. Now, multi-stroke marks. When a surface undergoes a scrape or slice-like movement by a tool having multiple angular peaks, it will be observed to have multi-stroke marks. For this, the best example is when wood is sliced with a saw. Now, we will discuss the characteristics of tool marks. Tool marks have 2 kinds of characteristics, that is class and individual. First, the class characteristics. These characteristics of a tool mark include the type of impressions, its general shape, and its general dimension. Class characteristics typically allow the examiner to determine which type of tool created the impression and how the mark was created. but they do not permit for the identification of exact tool that was used to create that mark. This means that if only class characteristics are available on the tool mark, it will not be possible to distinguish which tool among a series of similar tools made the impression. Individual characteristics. It is also called as identical characteristics. These characteristics are striations and small particularities exhibited by the tool that are individual to one unique tool. They consist of small, commonly microscopic indentation, ridges, and irregularities present on the tool itself. This kind of indentations, ridges, and irregularities are present due to its excessive use priorly. For example, the tip of a screwdriver is never perfectly flat but shows small ridges along its edge. These are created by the history of tool, such as its use and misuse, its cleaning and its maintenance. These characteristics are only ones that permit a formal identification. If such characteristics are present in the tool mark, it is possible to identify the actual individual tool that created the impression, even among a series of identical tools. Examination of a tool marks. Whenever a tool mark is found at the crime scene, the following procedure should be adopted for its collection and examination. First of all, photography. Tool marks should be photographed. At least 2 photographs should be taken, one showing the background with impression and another a close-up of the impression. Scale should always be kept at the same level of the tool marks while taking the photograph. Camera should be kept perpendicular to the surface of the tool mark. More details are obtained by using oblique illumination method. Now, tracing. Tool marks can be traced on a tracing paper. This helps in comparing the class characteristics. Here on the first photo from the left, you can see the method of photography is used. In the second, the casting method is used for lifting of the tool mark. And similarly, the silicone based lifting method is also used. Lifting of tool marks is very important for us. For that, a cast or mold is simply a reverse or negative 3-dimensional image of an impression. Some of the following materials are used for making a mold of a tool mark. First of all, plastic or rubber. This is a material for lifting fine details of a tool mark. A lump of material is softened by pressing in fingers and then applied on the surface. It is pressed carefully as it is likely to be disturbed by outside pressure. Then it is a dental casting material. This also gives the fine details of tool marks. Then plaster of Paris. This material is used when the impression is of large size. Basically, plaster of Paris is partly hydrated calcium sulfate. Another is metal casting. The mold of tool mark can also be made by metal casting. The suitable metal for this purpose is known as Wood's metal. This is a metal of low melting point, that is 71 degrees Celsius, which is suitable for casting tool marks. Its composition by weight is bismuth 50%, lead 25%, tin 12.5%, and cadmium 12.5%. Then another casting method is with cellulose acetate. Tool marks from stone, concrete, wood, etc. can be lifted by cellulose acetate dissolved in acetone. A layer of 1/16 inch is made. However, the cellulose acetate cast should be photographed with scale immediately, otherwise the layer is likely to shrink. Comparison of tool marks. The tool marks is negative replica of the tool and mold is negative replica of the tool mark. A tool mark must be compared with tool mark, mold with mold, and photograph with photograph having the same magnification. The comparison is best done by using comparison microscope with oblique illumination. Magnification of test and crime sample should be identical. The comparison of tool marks helps us in lot many ways. So the comparison of tool marks is must and very important to us. So now we will see a case study. The name of the case is the Lindbergh baby kidnapping case. In 1932, the infant son of Charles and Anne Lindbergh was kidnapped from his nursery. A homemade wooden ladder used to gain entrance to a second floor window. A ransom note, some muddy footprints, and a chisel were the only clues left at the crime scene. The ransom was paid, but the infant was never returned. His body was eventually found in the woods near the Lindbergh home. A suspect, Richard Hauptmann, was eventually arrested by the police officers. One of the first things forensic investigator Arthur Kohler looked for was Richard Hauptmann's toolbox. The handmade plane used to construct the homemade ladder. The imperfections in the plane's blade caused unique striation marks on any wood it was used on. Test pieces of wood planed with this tool displayed the same striation marks found on the wooden ladder left at Lindbergh's home. This proved that Richard Hauptmann's plane was used to make the ladder used in kidnapping. The wood used to make the ladder used in infant's kidnapping was also matched to Richard Hauptmann's attic. So after this, the police officers concluded that the Richard Hauptmann was the accused and was arrested. So in this way, a tool mark helped in solving a crime case. Thank you, and for the more information, do visit the website, that is www.thesciencehub.in, that is you can see on the screen. Thank you so much.